Marcus Kane pressed his back against the cold metal wall of the abandoned research station, listening for any sound that might betray the presence of hunters. His rifle felt heavy in his hands as he moved through the darkened corridors, emergency lighting casting eerie shadows on the walls. 3 days ago, his squad had received a distress signal from this remote outpost on Kepler 7. What they found was carnage. The silence was broken by a soft whimper coming from the medical bay. Marcus approached cautiously, finger on the trigger. Pushing open the damaged door, he saw her huddled behind an overturned table. She was unlike anything he had ever seen. Her skin shimmered like liquid silver, and when she looked up at him with eyes that glowed like molten gold, Marcus felt his breath catch. She couldn't have been more than 20 in human years. Small and fragile-looking despite her otherworldly beauty, blood seeped from a wound on her shoulder, staining her torn white garment. When she saw his weapon, she pressed herself further against the wall. Trembling, "Please," she whispered in accented English, her voice like wind chimes. "Don't give me to them. My people. They said humans were kind." Her golden eyes filled with tears that sparkled like stardust. Marcus lowered his weapon immediately. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said softly, kneeling down to her level. "Who are you? What happened here?" "My name is Zara," she said, clutching a small pendant around her neck. "The hunters came for me. They killed everyone who tried to protect me. The scientists here. They were good people." Outside, the distant hum of hunter vehicles grew closer. Marcus knew they had minutes at most. "We need to get out of here," he said, extending his hand to her. "Can you walk?" Zara nodded, placing her delicate hand in his. The moment their skin touched, Marcus felt a strange warmth spread through him, like electricity mixed with starlight. She gasped softly, her eyes widening as she looked at him with wonder. "You're different," she whispered. "Your life force. It's so bright." Marcus helped her to her feet, trying to ignore the way his heart raced at her touch. "We'll figure that out later. Right now, we need to focus on staying alive." He quickly gathered medical supplies and ammunition while Zara watched him with those mesmerizing golden eyes. As the sound of approaching vehicles grew louder, Marcus made a decision that would change everything. "I promise you," he said, looking directly into her eyes, "I won't let them take you. Whatever it takes." The chase begins. Crystal forests of Kepler 7 provided perfect cover as Marcus led Zara through the maze of towering formations. The translucent trees caught the light of the twin suns, creating a kaleidoscope of colors that would have been beautiful under different circumstances. Behind them, the mechanical whine of hunter drones echoed through the forest. "This way," Marcus whispered, pulling Zara toward a cluster of particularly dense crystals. They squeezed into a narrow crevice, just as the first drone swept overhead. Its searchlight piercing through the crystal canopy, pressed close together in the confined space. Marcus could feel Zara's rapid breathing against his chest. Her silver skin seemed to glow faintly in the dim light filtering through the crystals. When she looked up at him, her golden eyes reflecting his face, he felt that same strange warmth from before. "Marcus," she whispered his name like a prayer. "Why are you risking your life for me? You don't even know what I am." He reached up to gently touch her face, marveling at how soft her skin felt despite its metallic appearance. "Because it's the right thing to do," he said quietly. "And because, double quotes, he hesitated, because something about you feels important. Like fate brought us together." Zara's breath caught as his thumb traced across her cheek. Slowly, tentatively, she leaned into his touch. "In my culture," she whispered, "when two souls recognize each other, we call it stellar bonding. It's said to be rarer than finding diamonds in space dust." The moment stretched between them, filled with unspoken possibilities, until the sound of boots crunching on crystal brought them back to reality. Through a gap in their hiding place, Marcus could see Captain Voss, the lead hunter, examining the ground with his tracking device. "She's close," Voss growled to his team. "The readings are getting stronger. Spread out, but don't damage her. She's worth more alive." Marcus felt Zara tense against him. Her hand found his, intertwining their fingers as they waited in breathless silence. The warmth where their skin touched seemed to pulse with shared heartbeats. After what felt like hours, the hunters moved on. Marcus waited until their footsteps faded completely before emerging from their hiding spot. Zara stumbled slightly, and he caught her, pulling her close to steady her. "We need to keep moving," he said, but made no move to let go of her. "Can you make it to the ravine? There are caves there where we can rest." Zara nodded, but as they began to move, she suddenly stopped. "Marcus, there's something you need to know about me. About why they want me so badly." He turned to face her fully. "Tell me. I'm not just any refugee," she said, her golden eyes serious. "I'm the last of the Stellari. My people were wiped out because of what we are, what we can do. And now I'm all that remains." The toxic river stretched before them like a barrier of liquid death, its purple waters bubbling and hissing with dangerous chemicals. Marcus studied the crossing point, calculating distances and risks, while Zara knelt beside the strange water, her expression thoughtful. "The river speaks of pain," she said softly, her hand hovering over the surface without touching. "Many have died here." Marcus looked at her with renewed curiosity. "You can sense that?" Zara nodded, her silver skin reflecting the eerie glow of the toxic water. "My people were connected to the life force of all things. It's why the hunters want me. They believe my blood can grant them similar abilities." A splash echoed across the river. Kana spotted movement beneath the surface. Something large and serpentine writhed through the purple depths. "We need another way across," he muttered, scanning the shoreline. There, Zara pointed to a series of stepping stones, barely visible beneath the surface. "The stones are ancient, from before the river became poisoned. I can sense they're still stable." Marcus shook his head. "Too dangerous. If you fall ... then you'll catch me," she said with surprising conviction, placing her hand on his arm. "I trust you completely, Marcus Kane." The way she said his name sent warmth shooting through him. Against his better judgment, he found himself nodding. "Stay close to me. If anything goes wrong, grab onto me. Not the stones." They began the treacherous crossing, Marcus leading while Zara followed closely behind. Halfway across, the water around them began to churn violently. Marcus felt something brush against his leg and moved faster. Reaching back to ensure Zara was still with him, that's when she slipped. Marcus spun around, catching her wrist just as she started to fall toward the toxic water. The momentum pulled them both off balance, and they crashed into the shallows near the far shore. The poisonous water immediately began burning through Marcus's clothing. Q cried out in pain as it touched his skin. "Marcus." Zara scrambled to him, her hands glowing with soft silver light as she pressed them against his burns. The pain vanished instantly, replaced by a soothing coolness. "Hold still," she whispered, her power flowing through her touch. As she healed him, their faces were inches apart. Marcus could see flecks of starlight swirling in her golden eyes, could feel her breath warm against his lips. "Zara," he whispered, his voice rough with emotion. "I know," she breathed, her healing light pulsing brighter. "I feel it too." Their lips met in a kiss that seemed to ignite the very air around them. Her power flowed between them, creating a connection deeper than anything Marcus had ever experienced. He could feel her emotions, her fear, her growing love for him, as clearly as his own. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. Zara's skin glowed more brightly than before, and Marcus felt stronger, and more alive than he had in years. "The hunters will sense that," Zara said, touching her fingers to her lips. "My power, when it's awakened like this, it creates a beacon." Marcus pulled her to her feet, his hand lingering on hers. "Then we'd better find shelter fast." But as they looked into each other's eyes, both knew that something fundamental had changed between them. They were no longer just protector and protected. They were bonded. The hidden truth, ancient ruins rose from the crystalline desert like the bones of some long-dead giant. Their surfaces carved with symbols that seemed to shift and dance in the light of Kepler-7's twin suns. Marcus and Zara approached cautiously, both sensing the otherworldly energy that emanated from the structures. "This place," Zara whispered, her hand pressed to her chest, "it calls to me. As they entered the central chamber, the walls began to glow with the same silver light that emanated from Zara's skin. Suddenly, the air shimmered, and holographic images filled the space around them. Marcus watched in awe as the history of the Stellari unfolded before his eyes. He saw their beautiful world, covered in cities of crystal and light. He witnessed their incredible abilities to heal, to communicate across vast distances, to bring life to barren worlds. And then he saw the darkness that came for them. Ships filled with hunters enslaving those they could capture, destroying those they couldn't. They hunted us to extinction, Zara said, tears streaming down her face as she watched her people die, because they feared what we could become, what we could teach others to become. Marcus moved to her side, wrapping his arms around her as the images showed the final battle. He watched a ship escape the dying world, carrying the last survivors, including a young girl who looked exactly like Zara. You were just a child, he said softly. The last child born before the end, she confirmed. Raised in hiding, taught to suppress my abilities, to blend in. But now, ... She turned in his arms to face him. Now I can't hide anymore. Not after what happened between us at the river. Her skin pulsed with silver light, and Marcus felt that same warmth spreading through his body. But this time, it was different. Stronger, more intimate. He realized she was sharing not just her power with him, but her very essence. Zara, he breathed, cupping her face in his hands, what are you doing? I'm choosing you, she said simply. In my culture, we can only truly bond with one person in our entire lifetime. When we do, we share everything. Our power, our life force, our souls. I choose you, Marcus Kane. The silver light grew brighter, enveloping them both. Marcus felt his human strength merging with her stellar abilities, creating something new, something unprecedented. He could sense life all around them, could feel the pulse of the planet itself. And I choose you. He whispered against her lips before kissing her with everything he had. The ancient ruins responded to their bonding, filling with light and music that seemed to come from the stars themselves. For a perfect moment, they were alone in the universe. Two souls becoming one, but reality crashed back as the sound of engines filled the air outside. The hunters had found them. They're here, Zara said, pulling away reluctantly. Marcus felt different now, changed. He could sense the approaching threat, could feel the malevolent intent of the hunters like a physical weight. How many? 20 ships, Zara said, her enhanced senses reaching out. Captain Voss brought everything he had. Marcus smiled grimly, feeling power flowing through him that he'd never imagined possible. Then, let's show them what happens when humans and Stellari fight as one. The battle erupted, as the first hunter ships descended toward the ancient ruins, their weapons charging with lethal energy. Marcus felt the new power flowing through him. A perfect fusion of human determination and stellar ability that made him faster, stronger, more aware than any normal person could be. Stay close, he told Zara as they emerged from the ruins to face their enemies. Let our bond guide us. Captain Voss's voice boomed across the desert from his command ship speakers. Surrender the Stellar, and we'll make your death quick, human. Refuse, and you'll watch her suffer before we take her apart, piece by piece. Marcus raised his rifle, which now hummed with silver energy transferred from Zara's touch. Counter-offer, he shouted back. Leave now, and maybe some of you will survive. The first wave of hunters landed, advancing with energy weapons and neural nets, designed to capture Zara alive. Marcus moved with fluid grace, his enhanced reflexes allowing him to dodge their attacks while returning precise fire. Each shot from his weapon now carried stellar energy that could penetrate their advanced armor. Zara fought beside him, her power manifesting as bolts of silver lightning that disabled ships and sent hunters flying. But Marcus could sense her struggle. You're holding back, he said during a brief lull. If I use my full power, it could kill you too, she said, her golden eyes filled with concern. Marcus grabbed her hand, feeling their bond pulse with shared strength. Trust in us, in what we've become together. Understanding dawned in her eyes. Instead of holding back, she opened herself completely to their connection. Marcus felt her full power flow through him, but instead of destroying him, it made him stronger. He could see the life force of every enemy, could predict their movements before they made them. Together, they moved like a force of nature through the battlefield. Marcus's tactical expertise combined with Zara's stellar abilities created a perfect fighting unit. Where he provided strategy and precision, she provided power and healing. When he was wounded, her energy instantly repaired the damage. When she was overwhelmed, his protective instincts shielded her from harm. Captain Voss himself finally descended, wearing advanced power armor and wielding weapons that could level buildings. "You've made her more dangerous," he snarled at Marcus. "But it won't save either of you." The captain's attacks were devastating, his armor absorbing their combined assault. Marcus felt doubt creep in until Zara's hand found his. "The Stellari were never meant to fight alone," she said, her voice carrying across the battle. "We were meant to bond, to share our gifts, to become something greater together. That's why they feared us." Understanding flooded through Marcus. This wasn't about her power or his strength individually. It was about what they could achieve together, what humanity and the Stellari could become if they worked as one. He felt Zara's power merge completely with his own, their life forces becoming indistinguishable. The silver light that surrounded them was no longer just hers, but theirs. A beacon of hope in the darkness. Together they unleashed everything they had. The combined force of human willpower and stellar energy created a shockwave that disabled every hunter ship simultaneously. Captain Voss's armor cracked and failed, leaving him defenseless on the crystalline sand. As the last hunter surrendered, Marcus and Zara stood together among the ruins, their bond stronger than ever. They had proven that cooperation could triumph over conquest, that love could overcome fear. "What happens now?" Zara asked, leaning against his shoulder. Marcus smiled, feeling the vast universe of possibilities stretching out before them. "Now we show the galaxy what humans and Stellari can accomplish together. We make sure no one else has to face extinction alone. Their kiss sealed, not just their love, but a promise for the future of both their peoples."